Maybe you guys know this, maybe you don't, but Hyundai races the Elantra in touring car racing, TCR. Most recently, they've had 5 consecutive class wins at the Nürburgring 24 hours. That's a big deal. The car behind me, 2026 Elantra N TCR edition, brings a few changes from that race car here on the street to make the Elantra N a more viable track car. We're here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, just outside of Toronto, Ontario. We're gonna hit the track in a little bit, but for now, let's go over those changes. All right, so here it is. This one's sitting in performance blue, okay? So the front clip is the same. There are just a few minor differences that should make a huge difference on track, especially a sustained day, you know, 3, 4, 5 sessions in a hot place like, yeah, here it's about 29, 30 degrees out today. First things you'll notice, 19-inch forged aluminum wheels here, gloss black. It's a cool look. It's a bit of a split 5-spoke look. This particular car we're driving today has Pilot Sport Cup 2s. Now, I've been told these are an option after the fact for this vehicle. They come with a Pilot Sport 4S, which is the same standard tire you get on the Elantra N. Here's where the big changes come in, okay? So the standard car actually just has a single piston front brake, which I didn't find to be an issue on the street, but out here on track, it's a different story. This one's a 4-piston monoblock caliper. It's aluminum, it's got aluminum hubs, and it's got a 2-piece rotor as well. So significant changes on the front here. The weight of the wheels is not changed, so you may be thinking, yeah, lightweight parts, but again, there is that to take into consideration. Back here, this is the showpiece. It's not to the level of a GT3 RS, of course. They're not bringing that level of motorsport technology, but what they're doing is not only an aesthetic difference, a visual difference, and on a side note, to me, I've always had this kind of soft rule, you guys, that a car's wing should never, at least visually speaking, should never be taller than the roof line of the car. Take a look at that. It's the exact same height. I mean, the wing's ridiculous. Swan neck carbon fiber wing. It looks insane. You know, in a good way, in a bad way, I'm not sure, but it's definitely gonna stand out. But this wing is adjustable. As you see here, the top's all carbon fiber, so you can run it in a little bit higher downforce mode, trunk mounted. You've got your TCR edition badge there. On the interior, we have a couple different changes as well. There's Alcantara on the steering wheel. There's blue seat belts. They've made a return in the same performance blue. And there is a line on the center of the top of the steering wheel. So obviously when you're on track, eyes up, you can keep your sight line proper, see where your steering wheel is. Most importantly though, you guys, this is still offered with a 6-speed manual transmission in addition to the 8-speed DCT. Now, interestingly enough, in 2024, Hyundai said the Elantra N's take rate for the manual was about 30%. That's pretty decent. It's not huge, but it's enough. I'm just happy that Hyundai's, you know, enthusiastic enough to bring the manual to this car and to bring these changes to a car that doesn't sell a whole lot. Now, in comparison, the 991 generation 911 for GT3s in the US, those were a 70% take rate. That was in the States, and then globally, it's a little bit lower, closer to 30%. And then for all other 911 models, it's about 20 to 25% take rate. So it's right on the money here. I would personally go manual, but let's head out on track and see what's new. Okay, so here's what happened. First, I drove the Elantra N in the drive. Tony Morris Jr. is sitting right seat in the car. He's got a lifetime of racing and track experience, so it made a track that was new to me a little bit easier to attack. And to rehash what's in my full review, it's an incredibly balanced car that clearly has an edge over the Civic Si, but doesn't quite have the level of grip or power as the Type R. The inputs though, steering, braking, and shifting are all a cut above what you'd find in a GTI. Fight me. They're precise and light, never feeling as if the car's computer is acting as a middleman between the road and my hands. The car's not asking for a cut, it's sent straight through. Think light and effortless, especially the shifter. Where the Lotus Emira, as an example, has a distinct click and a heavier, more intentional feel to it, the Elantra N leans closer to Honda's lightweight feel in the Civic Type R. That car still has the bar set, but the Elantra isn't far behind, a perfect daily driver. And just when I got in the TCR edition, it began to rain. The ultimate test for the Elantra's ELSD and my ability to put down all 276 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque the little 2-liter turbo is making, unchanged from the standard N. To add a little more edge to it all, this one's got Cup 2s on it, and we're in the only scenario I'd rather have the 4S's, but let's keep an eye on that curveball. All right, you guys, we're going out right now. Yeah, Tony Morris Jr. to my right. Great driver, race car driver, all around good guy, but it just started raining here, so we'll see how we do. Oh wow, already understeer there.
Yeah,
but
you can feel it.
Yeah. Well, and this one's on Cup 2s. The other one we were driving was on 4S's too.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes a big difference.
So this is going to be a more rigid sidewall, less give, right? And in the rain, you want that give. So, I mean, it still does great. It still does a great job.
Yeah. And I'm surprised when just those little hints of understeer were coming on. You know, you can feel it in the car.
Yeah, it's very manageable.
As it's happening, you know, it's not too late when it's happening.
Yeah. This is a great platform, and it's very predictable and very stable. And
yeah.
Okay, so when you come through here, just let the car drift all the way to the outside on the exit. There you go, and then that'll set you up for the whole rest of it.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Next apex, and then let it drift again.
Yeah.
And then continue going left and bring it all the way over to the grass here.
Yeah.
Then bring it across to the right and line it up straight for the downhill. Dab the brakes, get the nose in, feel it's going to feel a little bit of slide.
Yeah.
There you go. That was your best time through there.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, if it seems like you can almost delete one of the last corner to a certain extent. Like there's a lot less input required if you set it up correctly.
See, like you've driven Area 27.
Yeah.
So you get up to turn 7 and 8. You know the
big one.
The hill and then the double left.
Yeah.
That's one steering input.
Right.
But two corners. Right. That's similar to right here. It's basically 3 corners, 1 steering input because it does this. Like it kind of. It takes apex, nice work. If the rubber on the track, like if you had like heat sensing goggles, where or night sensing, and all you saw was where the heat was. Imagine that where all the rubber is. So let's say you could turn it off pitch black, and all the rubber on the track glowed yellow.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
See what I mean?
You see the.
You would see one track for the most part of rubber because the majority of the cars drive around on the same line.
Yeah.
So when you get down into a corner, sitting on top of that yellow, bright yellow, you move the car half off of it.
Yeah.
So that the outside tires are shouldering off of that stuff.
Right.
But of course, there's compromise, based on the type of corner, because if you took it too far out here, you're going to run off into the grass. So you got to find like which corner you can find those little compromises where you can either turn in a little bit late and then maybe exit on the inside of the corner.
Yeah.
Other corners like this chicane coming up here, it's really kind of one line through because it's just straightest line, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to really compromise it too much there. Stay about half a car width up off of the apex, and let's see if we can feel some grip on the. Plus, you got banking here.
Yeah, it helps. You can feel the tires load up.
See,
there.
Eventually you'll meet back onto it again, right?
Yes.
Because you have to. But right here, just stay a little bit wider on the turn in. There you go, and just feel for that. Feel for the grip on the outside. Feel for the grip on the outside. There you go. Nice. Same here. We're gonna go a little bit later on the turn in. Maybe up, and then up a little bit wider out here, and then maybe cut right across this time.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh,
So
little too early on the power there.
This one, kind of a tough one. I mean, maybe a little bit later on the turn in. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe stay off the apex a little bit.
Yeah.
like when you're making that transition, you want to go to power. If you can compromise a little bit on entry and then square it off and then find that power, find that grip up the inside. Because even going wide, you're just going to meet that rubber so soon that you're just going to be spinning tires, right? That's the one great thing about driving in the rain is you can get real. It's very much, as they say, it's a great equalizer, right? Because it puts a lot more on the onus on the driver and the creativity of the driver. So even coming out of here and maybe going in wide, pinching off up the middle, or staying wide, and like there's just and some corners there's options. Some corners it's better to do one way. Other corners you can't really do it just because of the geometry and what have you.
And of course it's different in every single car.
It'll be a little bit different in each car. Rear-wheel drive, front wheel, but yeah.
Track footage never looks as quick on camera. I promise you, we were going for it. Maybe not 10 out of 10 pace here, but I'm convinced the entire afternoon was simply about learning how to pick lines on the track in the rain. Second to that was just how well the car was telling me when understeer was about to happen. I mean, what a car. The LSD does a perfect job throwing the torque down coming out of corners, no shenanigans and no unnecessary drama. I did drive the TCR in the dry earlier, just not as quickly as the standard car, but here's the deal. These brakes have a noticeable bite that the standard car just doesn't have, especially from high speeds. More laps without fade is an obvious upside too. Where you're gonna feel this on the street is a longer road trip, higher speed canyon drives. These brakes are gonna hold up just as well at the end of the day as they did in the morning, and that is huge. And the wing, well, tough to say from where I'm sitting. I promise you I didn't feel any additional downforce today, but every little bit helps. Tony, can't thank you enough for the driving lesson, and Hyundai for having me out. We kept the car out of the grass and walls with minimal understeer, so I'm going to call that a win. Thanks for watching.